All right, we are live. Seems like we are live, live, live. Okay, okay, okay. Let's see if we are live. Yep, we are live. We are live. We are live. Okay, okay, okay. Hmm. Okay, backstage, one person. Okay, okay. We are live. Good morning from Switzerland, from Mr. Francois Donner. I don't know if I said that correctly, but I appreciate you, my man, Francois. I appreciate you. It's great to have you. Uh, Wait a minute. This is people. There we go. People. All right. Anyone else in the chat? We're trying to engage the chat early on, so feel free to say hello in the chat. We'll be kicking off in a few minutes. Feel free to engage the chat. Trying to do better to have early engagement. All right. All right. Right. All right. All right. Seems like we're about 7 people in. It's a month of summer heat, and people are on coolcation. People are on vacation. But that doesn't stop us from running a LinkedIn Live. Of course, we people will come in. Good morning to Mr. Nicola. Good afternoon, Nicola from Dubai. Hello from Vishnu. Appreciate you, Vishnu. Nicola, Mr. Nicola, I want to give you a shout out. It's a good person, man. I just really want to say that. And I'm looking forward to collaborating with you as well. Mr. Umair Khan, thank you so much. Let's go. I think we'll just give it one more minute and then we'll just rock and roll. Mr. Nicola from Damak, I think doing a LinkedIn Live with you will be also a good thing in the future. If Damak allows you, though. Okay, okay. Okay, give me 1 minute. 1 minute. We are 13 people inside the room. That is it's good. Wasim, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay. And any comments, put it in the chat, in the questions for later on. We'll be going through the chat later on. We're just gonna rock and roll, I think, because obviously people are, people's time is precious. It's a Wednesday. People are at work, and we have our guests as well. We don't want to take too much time. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna kickstart. So welcome everyone to the first ever edition of GCC Resilience Forum LinkedIn Live. The purpose of this LinkedIn Live, GCC Resilience Forum is an initiative by Global Sustainability Hub, and I'm sure most of you are familiar with Global Sustainability Hub. The GCC Resilience Forum is for a focused platform, invite-only platform, where we explore GCC leaders in not only sustainability, obviously sustainability, but resilience, business, risk management, policy, and generally, the future of our beloved region. Right? Can everyone hear me properly? Can you guys put Praveen? Can you put in the chat if I'm audible? Miss Ash Danis, thank you so much for being with us. Praveen, can you put in the chat, or anyone, can you put in the chat if you guys can hear me? Just so we're good. Okay. Okay, we are good to go. We are 17 people and we're just climbing. All right, so let's get into it. As I was saying, the GCC Resilience Forum is a platform where we invite leaders to speak about resilience, sustainability, policies, and everything that is shaping our region. The goal of this platform is to have conversations that are happening currently inside the boardroom, inside the meeting rooms, but we want to make the conversation more public so that the public can join in on these conversations instead of having all these conversations which are lingering our minds, the questions, the doubts, the uncertainty. We want to sort of speak about it together. So think about it as a meeting where you come and you speak your pain. I don't know what it's called. It's called AA meetings or something. Anyways, welcome everyone. Thank you for being with us. So, as I was saying, GCC Resilience Forum will provide the raw conversations. We don't have things to promote. We don't have a very long deck of slides to go through. We want you guys to come in, collect the information, and leave, hopefully, with a positive note. So what we're going to do is, without further ado, I want to introduce our guest speaker of this LinkedIn Live. And I want to say this before we begin. I really value our guest speaker, his time, and I really appreciate that we had this GCC Resilience Forum LinkedIn Live, the first guest ever, Mr. Hassaan Ghazali. Mr. Hassaan is a boardroom MC. He's an environmental lawyer, and his work spans across moderation of panels with ministers, governments, high C-suite executives, and multinational companies. So There is no doubt in my mind that the first edition and the question we all want answers to cannot be answered better by anyone else than Mr. Hassaan Ghazali. And what I want to do is I want to welcome Mr. Hassaan Ghazali to the stage. And while Mr. Hassaan is speaking, if there's any questions you guys have, just type it in the chat so we can read and go through it later on. So what I want to do is I just want to go straight into it, the raw sauce, whatever you guys came for. And I want to introduce Mr. Hassaan Ghazali, the boardroom MC, the sustainability MC, the sustainability, yeah, the real man behind the golden mic. All right, there we go. One second here. I'm just gonna add him to the stage. Hello, Hassaan.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you? How are you, my friend?
All is good, Chief. All is good. Thank you so much for having me on. I really, really appreciate the work you folks are doing. I think knowledge sharing and awareness raising is very important, and I didn't quite know I was the inaugural speaker, so I'm honored to be here. Thank you, CM.
Oh no, that was my goal, man. Because having you as the first guest sets my platform up high, right? Now I have to go up from here, you know. And if Hassaan Ghazali is where I'm starting, then sky's the limit.
Oh, God, you're too kind. You're too kind.
Okay. I mean, so as I was saying, Mr. Hassaan has a lot of knowledge about conversations that are being held privately. That's why we want to have this edition with him. There's a lot of uncertainty in the market. We want to get answers to a lot of questions. So, Mr. Hassaan, can we get right into it?
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Hassaan, what's going on? And the first question, which everyone is here for, is sustainability dead? And I want you to don't try to be politically correct. Give me the raw sauce.
No, my friend, I have no intention to be politically correct. I don't care for birthday party invites or dinner invites. I speak my mind. You know that about me. So the question is sustainability dead? CM, repeat after me. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Dead with 1,000 cuts, dead 1,000 times. But let me qualify that. It comes back to life. There's this circularity to sustainability itself. It comes back in another form. I've been working in this space for over 20 years. I've seen the ups and downs. It has changed. The previous version that people seem to know or understand is definitely dead. And I'm really glad you're having this topic. I think we'll go into the depth of that. But my view is that yes, it is dead.
All right, perfect. And Hassaan, I want to go into it. You know, we're going to speak more about it, and I'm going to definitely let you qualify your answer. And obviously, you know, you mentioned that sustainability is on life support, or is it dead? And you just mentioned it, it's dead. So my obvious next question will be, who killed it? And before you answer it, let me just check if it's recording. Praveen, can you just check if it's recording? It says recording, so I think we are good. It says recording automatically. Yeah. So, Mr. Hassaan.
Yes.
Who killed sustainability? Who did the you know who was the stabber?
Okay. So I think the first guilty party who I blame for this are the economists. Okay. CM, economists have repeatedly failed to price externalities. This is nothing new. Back in I keep quoting this example, back in the 1900s, there were economists like Pigou. They wrote that, look, your current state of, let's say, industrialization, remember this is just at the end of 1800s, it said your current state of industrialization is not pricing in externalities, and externalities is what you need to be worried about. No one paid attention. Everyone preferred the free market economics. So I blame economists for not listening to the caution that was given. So first I blame them. The second group of people I blame, and I think I'm also part of that problem, are the risk managers. In many organizations I've been into, several of my clients, they some of them have very large compendiums of what we call risk registers. What's the risk? Okay, I think the risk manager was so busy populating those risks, not much attention was given to controls. And when you think of the cycle of a review, like you're lucky if you review your risk register once a year. See, I've got some clients, they give me an Excel spreadsheet with a lot of data, and I always go into the tab where they're showing the risk register. It's empty. Okay.
Mm.
What that means is they're not appreciating the risks. And so if you're not appreciating the risk, how are you pricing things? So I blame risk managers for not being agile enough. Look, if you're lucky enough to update your risk register once a year, which doesn't happen, okay, remember, with sustainability, with climate change, risk is so dynamic. It changes on a daily basis. You've got geopolitical risk, you've got market risk, you've got all kinds of risks. So I think that bit has failed. You need more agile risk monitoring. And the third group is actually my greatest ire is directed at them. People who were supposed to do something, clear mandate that you are responsible for, or you are, let's say, empowered to do something, and they became event planners. Okay, so let me paint a little picture for you. The number of sustainability related events happening outpaces the actual action. Okay, now without taking any names, I think last year or last year there was a major event here in Abu Dhabi. I didn't attend. I attended the first day. I realized there's very little value. Don't need to go again. Now, that event could have wrapped up in one day. But event planners decide, no, let's pad it out for 3 days. Let's have lots of panels. My friend, there is a video circulating of extremely powerful CEOs who I respect a lot. They're talking on a panel.
Mm-hmm.
The whole room is empty. There is video footage of this. The whole room is empty. There are more photographers taking footage rather than audience members listening. Now, here's the funny thing. Okay, it's disrespectful. Okay,
yeah.
These are CEOs of large organizations which have thousands of people. They could fill the room 10 times over just with their employees, but even that doesn't happen. Okay, so
I'm sorry to cut you off. Then why do you think that is? Because I want to know personally rather than just sharing with the audience. I want to know, why do you think that is? Is there a specific reason for that, or?
It's padded out too much. Okay, people prefer the coffee table rather than the panel discussion. Okay, if it was condensed, so I think then you would see that, okay, there's not that much supply, so then demand automatically goes up. So there's that. I think there's an element of greed. Never underestimate the capacity for human greed. Okay, and an event planner, and I'm talking about the companies that do this, will obviously they make more money the longer an event is. They made it shorter, bite size, will probably have a lot more value. So I think there have been definitely lapses. To give you another example, I attended one event. It was supposed to be about technological shifts for the global south. Brother, for 2 hours, the word global south was not even mentioned. And credit to the man who got up and said, we've been talking for 2 hours. Where's the talk on the global south? This was a mega event. So I think these need to be slimmed down. There are a handful of events that happen that actually matter, where you can do networking, which actually have an impact. But for the most part, 90% of the events and the summits that happen is actually very little value. People come there for tote bags to collect gifts. I'm sorry, but I think we've lost the plot. And I think that needs to be pared down considerably. Quality, not
I think you rightly described it. People come there for tote bags and sort of, does that look more like a marketing stunt for organizations? Or
it's great on LinkedIn. No one's going to see the empty hall behind you when you've got a picture of LinkedIn saying, oh, I was on a panel, I was honored to be here, blah blah blah. Folks, you've been there. I'm pretty sure everyone on this live has been there. You've seen our panel rooms are empty, or people are on their phones or on their laptops. So where's the value? Why did we do it? Because it's great for marketing and PR, right? So let me say this, okay, to condense it. This performance art is not sustainability. This performance art needs to die. When you get into actually doing stuff and impact, well, that stuff is more interesting. But I think this bit is over. Budgets are
but
tight. Yes.
yeah, go again. The budgets are tight.
No. So like my indicator are interest rates. If interest rates are going up, then obviously companies are going to be wanting to spend less. They'll be watching their budget, and this has a knock-on effect on everything that people do. So um,
Yeah,
it's a PR move. That's all it is. And
we will definitely speak about where the money is going, and obviously, there's a term called follow the money. We definitely want to get into that, because I know you also you are a person who likes to follow the money. But my question is, because we spoke briefly about business value, so
yeah.
did sustainability now became too much about, especially in the GCC or in the UAE, may I say, did it become about marketing and reporting and compliance rather than actual business value? What is your thoughts on that?
Look, I think it was a global thing. Okay, like I said, this performance art. Okay, I think that just made sense to people that we can do this. You look at sustainability reports, brother. Who reads them? The average sustainability report is about 200 pages long. Who reads it? People read the executive summary, and people are very proud that, look, this is great. And look, the imagery and all that, the formatting looks beautiful. But again, it's performance art. It's sitting under marketing and communications. And I'll say it again: if in organization you find the sustainability function is sitting under marketing and communications, and actually in some I've seen it under HR. I don't quite know why that's done. It deserves to die. It's got no business being over there. So so that's my view on that. But brother, let me say one thing. Coming back to that event thing. Look, you've been to events. Everyone here has been to events. We all know that the questions are in a way scripted. Everyone knows there's a briefing call. Everyone knows what questions will be asked. ChatGPT is giving you the questions, okay, to make people's life easy. Guess what? I have seen people also get their answers from ChatGPT. Believe it or not, I've moderated sessions where the speaker is just reading off their phone.
Yeah.
Brother, tell me, does that bring any value to anyone? So next time my event, I'll just put it into ChatGPT, tell me what's going to happen, and I'm done. So this has got to stop, my friend.
I think you're 100% spot on, because even I've observed it, and that's my sort of freestyling about sustainability, something you're passionate about. You shouldn't be able, you shouldn't need ChatGPT if you're passionate about sustainability. If you're passionate about actually providing value in the space.
And I wouldn't say passion, I'd say expertise. If you have the expertise, you don't need GPT to tell you. But I've seen people literally read off a phone. It's nonsensical. I don't know why it's happening.
That is definitely something we cannot do anything about. But in the future, I think, don't you think that these people will be sort of, now that sustainability is sort of in a lifeline support, don't you think that these people have now moved on to doing something else because they were into sustainability and ESG for the quick buck, but then they now realize that the quick bucks are not here?
Brother. So you should see the speed with which LinkedIn profiles change from sustainability to, it says now, transition, and others it just says AI. Look, I know a lot of people who hear me out. Okay, I know a lot of people who had facilities management in their title. Okay, I'm talking about 10 years ago. These FM people, because FM is critical for sustainability, right? And then all of a sudden they got the title sustainability, and now it's AI. A lot of people just jump. So you wonder, okay, you think they've got transferable skills, but it's not that. It's titling, it's packaging. So a lot of people are doing that now. A lot of funds. I reviewed this recently. At least 200 roughly funds that had the word ESG or climate or sustainability in their title are gone.
Yeah,
they've changed their name.
We're not going to mention no names, but yeah, I know the people.
No. I mean, look, it worked for the abbreviations, because C is C for climate. C is also for capital. So they just change what that C stands for. They're done. So this again, this is branding and packaging. That's happening for sure. There has been a backlash against certain things. So I think people respond to that to just stay alive. I'm not blaming they in a way being sustainable by changing how they brand themselves.
No, I mean, see, definitely, I think that's sort of the personal brand, and people want to sort of create what's appealing to the market at the moment. But I want to get into this. Looking back, right? Looking back, these past years, what are some companies? Because we were talking about people who got it wrong, companies who got it a little bit wrong. But what are some companies who the best companies that are still doing things differently today, and that's why they're sort of excelling in the space?
Look, I think the best companies firstly understood that this whole, let's say, drive for sustainability was actually a drive for transformation. The best companies understood that, and they made changes to how they operated. They made changes to how they managed risk. But over and above all that, I think the litmus test for what is the right thing to do is, especially if you're a heavily matrixed organization, is to have that function sitting everywhere rather than a very siloed sustainability department operating, as I said, under marketing and communication. That's wrong. If it's sitting under finance, if it's sitting under strategy, if it's sitting under, let's even say, operations, they've done it right. At least it's positioned in the right place to actually make a difference.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. And obviously, that's something other companies should learn from, right? And sort of not try to compete with the best companies, but sort of rather learning from them, watching their
Look,
strategy, and
they'll
sort of,
eventually learn. Look, they've already
yeah,
started learning, right? As long as it was a marketing communication and you appointed a chief sustainability officer, which was a lot of performance art. They get to go places and represent. But brother, you know what? Okay, we'll get into this maybe in a little bit later. But
yeah.
essentially,
We have.
powerless.
I have a question for specifically for chief sustainability officers.
Yeah.
But what I want to do right now is I want to go quickly into what we call follow the money. Obviously, follow the money is what's going on in the sustainability. Where is the money flowing in the sustainability today? Is there a specific sector and niche in sustainability where a lot of money is going to? Because we know that the government is on the transformation wave, and they're pouring in millions or if not billions. So where is the actual money going?
Energy. So
Okay.
almost all of it's going to energy. Some's going into water, solar, to an extent hydrogen, although hydrogen's been gone on the back burner for a bit. So purely energy and water. This is where the money is flowing. How it's flowing, it's actually a lot of debt. So a lot of investors are piling into bonds, green bonds, blue bonds have been issued in the GCC. So I think if you just look at where's the money going, it's going into like battery storage. I think that's the most critical thing right now. And again, like incredible announcements from the UAE and ambitions on what they want to do. So I think that's definitely it. And just to give you the idea of scale, right? I don't know if many people know this, but everyone talks about Masdar, right? The future energy company here out of Abu Dhabi, brother. 65 gigawatts coming online in the next year. That's their total portfolio. Let me put that in. Let me give you the idea of the scale. All the Bretton Woods organizations, World Bank, IFC, have financed less than half of that. What I mean to say is that you've got 65 gigs just in Mazdar's account, and all these large multilateral donors are sitting at about 30. So this gives you an idea of where the interest lies and where the money is flowing clearly here.
That puts things into perspective, and I want to get into some quick a policy question, because you see a lot of renewable PPA policies for renewable energy. You see a lot of new policy coming into place, and because of those policies, you see a lot of investors, renewable energy investors, they get attracted to the UAE, specifically Abu Dhabi. And why is the policies being in place now, and yet we're having the conversations that sustainability is dead? But the policies are sort of becoming more attractive for foreigners, investors to come in and invest in renewable energy. So what is the link between that? If you can,
the link is actually the UAE consensus, right? Remember that at COP28 where they wanted to triple renewables and increase efficiency. I think that ambition was set there, right? And everything else that's happening is sort of a repercussion of that. Now, mind you, when I say 65 gigawatts of power is just under the Masdar portfolio, that's about 40 countries. It's
Yeah.
not just the UAE. So I think there's this element of, okay, yes, there are things we need to do within country, but this country can really help other countries as well.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't have to be energy infrastructure. It can also be port infrastructure.
Yeah.
So I think that's the propeller. And then I think because there's a conducive environment, the regulatory frameworks are set, you've got free zones operating. So I think it just makes a great petri dish for investors to pile in. And inshallah, you look at this. I think the market for bond issuance in the UAE in the next couple of years is expected to go up to about 1 trillion dirham.
Wow.
Okay. It's currently in several hundreds of billions, but it's going to go up. So you can see that, yes, there'll be a further demand, debt will be issued, and then works will be carried out. And because all these bonds, they all align with the ICMA principles, so you can rest assured that the proceeds will be used and used well. And if they aren't, well, you'll take a step up or a step up on your premium. So everyone's got an interest to make sure that things work right.
And that should give, so anyone who is sort of in the sustainability field or pivoting towards sustainability or entering the sustainability space, this fact alone should give them a lot of optimism for the future. Because even though we're seeing the momentum being slowed down, but behind the scenes, as you rightly said right now, there are things being happening, policies being implemented. With whether it be battery PPAs, whether it be ports, you see.
Carbon capture and storage, that policy just got announced a while back. So I think it's brilliant. Lots happening.
Amazing. So I want to ask this though, because this regional escalation that happened, I don't want to call it a regional tension or anything, because I think the UAE is very resilient and they can sort of bounce back even harder. But this regional escalation that happened, is that, you know how they say that after a disaster comes the period where you put in place your policies and when you sort of boost your momentum. Is that what's happening now? Will there be more policies put in place now?
I definitely, they already have, actually. Look, everything's a test, right? COVID was a test. Who won? The UAE, right? Geopolitical tensions, again, UAE is the winner. Why? Because it made you ask one question. And that was it. There's only one question. Are we resilient? And that word, resilient, is the new word of sustainability. No one is going to be saying, is it sustainable? You will ask, are you resilient? Now, semantics, there's not much difference between sustainability and resilience, right? If you just think about what it means. But this is now the new wave. I'm seeing it across the board. There's a immediate need to be more resource efficient, optimize costs. We saw it with, you must have heard recently, the NASIJ, the Textile Circularity Initiative. I think that was brilliant. You've got the food loss program being run by NEMA. So whatever it makes you resource efficient makes you resilient. And so that's the trigger. Look, sustainability might be dead, but the drivers behind it are not. In fact, the drivers have increased. So now there'll be a greater need to be resilient, a greater need to adapt. And I think you'll see it all playing out here in this part of the world that we live in.
Yeah, and that just the fact that you said that this will all be being played out in the UAE. So is this now a chance for the UAE, or has the UAE already been taking the lead in sustainability? And dare I say, in the GCC, what is your thoughts about that?
100%. There's no doubt about it. Look, there's been a policy and benchmarking review report done purely on ESG, so not the wider sustainability, right? UAE is number one in terms of the GCC, a higher score. So yeah, they've got the strategy in place. They've got the let's say the political will that you see. that comes out in your policy documents, and then how it filters down through how different ministries then interact with the private sector. So I think if anything happens, it's going to happen here. And just, sorry, if I could take back to another point, because I mentioned Nasij, and I can't get far. I mean, I should not go further without actually mentioning that, we talked about what are good companies doing. The best company, the smartest companies will make either their CFO or their head of legal the chief sustainability officer. If they can do that, they will win. And one example, which I gave quite often, and I'll take that name because I'm very proud of the work they're doing, Landmark Group, mega group here in the UAE. So fine, they were doing things on sustainability. Then all of a sudden, they make their chief financial officer the chief sustainability officer. A little while after that, they announced their Circular Life program, which is probably the largest private sector textile circularity initiative. So this is brilliant. So empower the right people, and they'll take the action. If your CSO is going to be, let's say, more of a performer, well, they're eventually going to go and butt heads with the head of legal or the CFO. They won't get the budget. They're talking emissions and talk earnings. So that whole notion's got to change. So whoever's done that is successful in this market.
Amazing. And that brings me perfectly to my next question. Is the role Chief Sustainability Officer dying?
Oh, yeah. Look. A lot of my friends are chief sustainability officers. They're very nice people. By the very nature, they were doomed to die. What I mean by that is, if you're a CSO and you've done your job, you've written yourself out of the job, because now sustainability is everyone's headache, not yours. So I'm seeing that happen. It's happened globally. Like, a lot of people made a lot of noise when a very large coffee company based out of the US let go of their chief sustainability officer. It was just like not even 10 days ago or something like that. But it's not like people said, oh, they don't care. No, that function, it will now be subsumed by every department. So you eventually don't need that anymore, because it's everyone's job. It's not, you won't call it sustainable finance or sustainable procurement. You just call it procurement. You just call it finance. Exactly. And the drivers will be the same. So yeah, that's something that I'm seeing.
I think what I'm taking out from whatever you're saying is that the sustainability is now leaving the sort of hype era into a more accountability era, where everything is sort of embedded in finance, in everything, right? And sustainability is just something that you have in with you along the way.
Look, so when you say sustainability, okay, let's get down to brass tacks, okay? Because it's a word everyone throws around. What does it mean? Sustainability to a company means, is it operational sustainability? Is it financial sustainability? Is it environmental sustainability? Whose sustainability is it anyway? If everyone has their own way of looking at the universe, then kind of like it's protean. It doesn't have form. So I think there's that. If I look at sort of the international standards, right? Like let's say IFRS, okay? Sociopathic, as far as if you ask me, because they just focus on financial materiality. How do they define sustainability? Guess what, CM? They don't. You go through, they just talk about sustainability related. Okay, so let's put IFRS aside. Let's pick up these other standards, GRI, ISO. You know what they're drawing their definition to? Is back then in 87, when Baroness Brundtland announced from the Brundtland Commission defined sustainability, right? How do they define it? Meeting the needs of the present without compromising the needs of the future. There was this intergenerational thing. Okay, CM, I'm sure you know, and a lot of the people on this live already know, we have kind of breached a number of parameters of planet Earth. You look at what that Johan Rockström from the PIK Institute in Europe, the planetary boundaries, I think 6 out of 9 have been transgressed. You put the temperature overlay. So I think like this whole notion of the enough for the next generation, that's already been blasted. So just on that ground, just on the definitional count, I'll say sustainability is dead, may it rest in peace and all that. Okay. So I think here's what I would like, CM, to see if the United Nations, they're looking at their SDGs, the SDGs are way off track, right? They're like only 16% are on track based on their last report. They've got a 2026 report coming out on the 7th of July. I'd like to see what the data says there, but I don't expect much change. In fact, we're pretty much going backwards. So if anyone is in the UN system or working with the UN system, they might not change the framework. Maybe you still have the SDGs, but they really need to change the definition, because that definition has been blasted out of the water just by the indicators of what's happening on our good planet. So I hope someone does that. If they manage to change that definition, I don't know what that is. I have to think about that. I think then we can come back to, well, okay, now this is the new form of sustainability. The ability for systems to endure. If they stop it at that, it will make sense to everyone. I'm talking financial systems, economic systems. So that's something that needs to happen very soon.
That's I'll make sure that I'm gonna clip this part of the video and circulate on Instagram everywhere, and then someone from the UN will pick it up, inshallah, and then they're gonna do something about it. So
I hope so.
Mr. Hassaan, yeah, I want to ask, for obviously a lot of our audience are career oriented. They sort of are consultants. They want to achieve great things in the space. If a young sustainability professional today asked you for a career advice today, what would you tell them and why?
I would say you park your green thinking to the side. Okay. You might have studied sustainability, whether it was in engineering or policy or finance. You need to understand your client. You need to understand their business. You need to pick a sector. My first advice would be pick a sector. Please don't go in with this, yes, I am a jack of all trades. You need to be specialized. Pick a sector, understand how that sector works, and get into the economics of the sector. Mining, for example, how does mining work? How does the money flow? If you don't get that, you won't be able to do much. And just to give you an example, it's very funny. I used to work in a very large consulting company in another life. And a senior partner goes for a meeting on sustainable procurement with a very large oil company. Okay? This happened in January. Follow this, CM. This is very interesting. So at the table, executives from the oil company are saying, oh, we need to get Christmas trees. Okay, we need to get Christmas trees. This senior partner gets up and says, oh, Christmas trees in January, you should have bought them in December. What the gentleman didn't know was that the Christmas tree is a technical term for a particular valve used in the oil and gas industry.
Yeah.
So do you think that person had any respect? I'm talking about a senior partner. After that client was like, we don't want to see these guys anymore.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. Young people, please really get into the depth of the sector you choose. Look, the sectors are going to be pretty much the basic ones: mining, financial services, construction, transport and logistics, tourism. Take your pick, but go deep and please understand the economics. That would be my first advice.
I think that's a beautiful advice, because even as I'm very much into academia and supporting academia with sustainability, I found myself becoming expert in one space, and because of that, it sort of equipped me with the general knowledge as well, because I'm now able to go nitty and gritty into the one sector and making that sustainable enough. And just because of that, I think this is a very beautiful advice. Go into nitty and gritty stuff. If you're into oil and gas, pick oil and gas and stick to it.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, like if you're a young professional, study finance, because look, it's all going to come to where does sustainability sit on the P&L. If you cannot see where it's sitting on the P&L, you are wasting your time. You are part of the performance art. You are extinct. So it's very important there. Very important.
I think that's great, because obviously resilience, risk management, sustainability, these are same conversations, but everything has to translate to actual business value, right? And that comes down to the P&L. So I think that's sort of a takeaway to sustainability professionals, because I tend to meet a lot of sustainability people who are either on the left side, where they're emotional about everything, or I meet people who are very profit oriented, right? But what is the fine line? Like, people have to understand.
No, there is no fine line. These profit oriented people will have 50-year careers.
Yeah.
The emotionally charged ones will have a very brief career, if any at all. No one needs emotions in this. We need hard numbers. We need to see how it affects the P&L. Like I say, don't worry less about emission and effluence. Think about earnings, EBITDA, as they say, number one metric. So
I'm so happy that you said it, because it makes sense coming from someone like yourself, that we need to be strong and sort of sometimes put our emotions aside, and sort of think like, the CEOs, think like the business development managers, the head of business revenue. We sort of, as sustainability professionals, we have to put ourselves in their shoes and act like them in a way,
you
because
hit
that's the
the nail on the
language.
head. Absolutely hit the nail on the head. Look, my second piece of advice is stop thinking like a hunter. I get it. A lot of sustainability professionals are very hungry for work and they want to have an impact. But they need to stop thinking like a consultant or a professional. Start thinking like their client or the intended client. When you put yourself in the mind of your client, you start looking at the things this actually matters. Emotions go out of the way, right? And you start talking a language which your client can understand. So like if you're hunting rabbits, think like a rabbit and you'll catch a rabbit.
Exactly, and that's beautiful. That sums up, because we have few more questions, and then I want to take you into a rapid fire, very brief rapid fire, and then we're just going to open for Q&A, because I see already some questions are there. So for any young professional, why should they still be optimistic about building a career in sustainability in the GCC? And I want you to give your honest opinion. And yeah, go.
Okay, if your sustainability professional, if they're honest about like making a career here, please be aware of what artificial intelligence is doing. Okay, uh, brother, I'm a lawyer. My days are numbered. Okay, they've already got tools out there. I see some people on this call who actually build tools that can draft a beautiful agreement within seconds. Okay, there's also talk of you won't need judges anymore, because if you've coded stuff, you don't need people. The computer can tell you, algorithms can tell you. So follow what's happening there. And if you are an API, what I mean by that is, if your job is to take information sitting in one form, convert it, translate it into another form, it's over. They don't need automation, will take care of that. Okay, so I'd say beware of that. I think the key skill here would be financing. A lot of people like to focus on reporting. We can talk a little bit about that shortly. But I think they really need to open their eyes to this is the push that automation and artificial intelligence is leading to, or giving. And we want to do something that either we are able to harness this, and there are a lot of people who started harnessing AI to actually make an offering for potential clients. So they should think creatively. Old models will not work. The only model that will work is it's an 80s concept: cost optimization, resource efficiency. Okay, if you are good in that, if you can teach yourself how to do that sector by sector or function by function, I think it'll be much better. But honestly, if you're a sustainability professional, I expect you to be an engineer. I expect you to be a finance guy. I expect you to be someone, rather than just I'm a sustainability professional. It's got to be something else. And then sustainability is the underlay, not the overlay. The overlay should be your actual technical skill. So this is the stuff that young people need to think.
That's brilliant. So I want to say, for people who sort of operate their own consultancies as well, because you see a lot of work being pushed down to the consultancies, the boutique firms, and how do people win these projects? Because I see a lot of sustainability professionals who are now freelancers, and they have a company, and they do cold LinkedIn messages, cold emails, where translate to what we're doing behind the scenes. We're trying to partner up with people and get into their ecosystem, and then sort of have a more meaningful collaboration. So what is your thought on that specific thing?
Sorry, can you repeat the question once? Because I was listening, I kind of forgot the first bit. Just can you
repeat
the
so the first thing, what is for boutique firm owners, for people who run their own sustainability consultant firms? What
you
should
guys
they
are
do to
sitting
win
on a,
business?
yeah, so these boutique firms are sitting on a great opportunity, because these very large consulting firms that have very large overheads are actually facing the brunt of budget slash. They're dealing with, my client now has a in-house AI team that can do all of this work that we might have done for them, right? Down to just creating a nice looking slide. Okay, so the big boys are, I think they're nearly dead. Okay, and there's a lot of movement now where people are saying, okay, we should have these boutique agile companies that are focused less on what they can offer. And I need to make this very clear. Okay, so I'll say this slowly. Focus less on what you have to offer, and instead focus on solving expensive problems. When you fall in love with the problem and remain in love with the problem, you will actually be able to sell more of your work because you're actually solving a problem. This old world model where we know everything about your business and this is what we've done all over the world, but every company is different, operating under different
Yeah.
circumstances. This model is gone, and very rightly it should be. It should have gone a long time ago. But a lot of clients are now waking up and they're saying, look, we can, I'll give you an example, right? I can do my marketing communication, I can write copy, and I can have it proofread internally. Why do I need so many people in marketing communication? CM, the number of phone calls I started getting about 7 to 8 months ago, they were all marketing people, all saying, we've been laid off. Can you help? I tried to do what I could, but this is a thing happening now. So if stay away from certain areas or functions, I should say. And if you are boutique, remember, you are agile, keep your rates low. Now I'll give you one example. Okay, we have this gentleman on the call, you know him too, this Wasim Akram. He's sitting on a gold mine. This guy can take literally, I've seen him do it in real time. In a couple of minutes, he can put together a dashboard, a carbon calculating tool. He can have it ready. All it needs is data and a server. Brother, minutes. If he starts selling it to clients, you think he's going to charge the hundreds of thousands or millions that these carbon accounting softwares are going to charge, or you do it at a fraction of the price? And the real game is help strategy improve performance rather than just reporting. He's going to kill it. And people like him, these small, even you don't even need to be a firm, you can be an individual. So yes, hunger is important, but think like the hunter, and inshallah you should land something. But one thing here to everyone, and this is young, old, I'm seeing it everywhere. I go to a lot of these networking events and see them, like, I've barely met the person. I get a business card in my hand and the person says, oh, we should see about working together. And then they trot off to hand another business card over. You think any relationship has been formed? Zero. You think I'm going to even think about that person? I'm not. So where's my human relationship? Okay. The best thing people can do, please don't talk shop when you meet someone. Talk about something else. Talk about the weather, their kids, their tie, whatever. At least form the human relationship. And step 2, get a contact and move into actually talking about work. That'll work out far better than people just running around trying to find work, because your hunger shows, and that's actually a bit off-putting. You see?
Yep. And that goes for every profession, actually, and not only the sector of sustainability, but that is a beautiful message to sustainability professionals, because I see a lot of them getting pushed from the companies that they work on to go and attend this event, attend this seminar, and go and hand out your business cards as if that's going to help. So I think leaders should also be accountable for that this doesn't work. Build more meaningful relationships. Try to do ecosystem collaborations rather than just one quick buck. How can I get rich out of you?
This is the word. This is you will die if you do this. If anyone's going to do this, how to make a quick buck, you're dead.
I think that's the sort of survival mechanism here in the UAE. But I think companies and people who are doing it differently is, rather than showing the hunger, they're genuinely wanting to know about how your day is, how's your family, right? So I think that's why sort of me and you even have a good relationship. So Hassaan, I want to quickly go through this rapid fire and then quickly open it for the questions. Okay. So are you ready?
Born ready, Chief. Let's go.
Okay. So, Mr. Hassan, one sustainability trend which is overhyped,
Carbon accounting software.
one sustainability trend that is underhyped.
I would say carbon markets. I hate to say this, but carbon markets are so underhyped right now, and the ramifications of people not taking them seriously is now coming and biting them.
Great, great. And one skill every consultant today should learn. Every consultant.
Empathy.
Okay.
Please, human element. Come back. You're dealing with a human. You're not dealing with a checkbook.
Okay. And one thing that sustainability professionals should stop doing from today.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. um, wow. Wow. I've just said so much. I'd say stop thinking like the hunter.
Okay. Finish this sentence. The future belongs to sustainability companies or generally companies who dare to.
Manage risk.
Okay, Hassan, that's a great wrap up. I appreciate you, Hassan. We started with one simple question, and the question was, is sustainability dead? After everything we have talked about, and we're going to open it for the questions as well, but after everything we have now spoken about, what is your final verdict? Is sustainability dead, on life support, on mutating mode? What is your final verdict?
Oh no, I think I'll take a leaf out of the British system of constitutional monarchy and say sustainability is dead. Long live sustainability.
Okay, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. Hassan. And just want to quickly see if there are any questions, and feel free in the chat to put your questions in. I had one question here from Uruj. She's enjoying her maternity leave, but she's still active on this live. Let's see. Who? Okay, first of all, Miss Maria Andrianova, who pays the bill? The question stays open always.
Who
I'm
pays
not
the
sure
bill?
what you meant, but who pays the bill? And then she
CFO.
said,
Straight CFO.
CFO.
Straight answer. CFO pays the bill. So he's got to be won over, and he only understands one language: earnings, value. He's not going to understand emissions and effluent. Sorry, stop it.
I think I hope that answers your question, Ms. Maria. And we have a question from Mr. Vishnu. What's the future of organic waste management?
Oh, beautiful, brilliant future. Look, I think just generally waste management, I wouldn't want to bifurcate organic waste, but it's happening. It started, look, particularly here in the UAE, which is on the front lines of so many things: heat stress and water stress and even food security. I think very bright future. Number of initiatives are underway. It's one of the easiest things to do. Easiest thing to do is waste management. And you've got outfits like Bia in Sharjah, you've got Tabreed here, Tadweer here in Abu Dhabi. So I think a great future. And organic waste creates compost with which we can grow.
Yeah.
It's a soil conditioner. You can grow more food. So it's kind of like a virtuous cycle that gets set up with good waste management.
Amazing, amazing. I hope that answers your question. And from Uruj, how to expect the market to change and bounce back after recent conflict? What should the approach be for individuals in the sustainability profession? I think we answered that question in the live as well, but you can take a moment to
No.
answer it again.
Look, there's an incredible look, sector by sector. It's got different ramifications. Okay, everyone is now talking about. Look, there's just one or two words going around. Okay, you say supply chain, and then you pair on resilience. Okay, resilience is is a sort of a business-wide thing. Okay, how resilient a company is, what reserves they have, and stuff like that. But just supply chain management and ensuring that you are you have your contingencies in place. I think that is absolutely the focus. Should be the focus. If anything, after the recent conflict, this driver has increased. And that's why I say, brother, it's all about resilience. And the new word of now in everyone's LinkedIn bio, it'll say resilience or something resilience, and it should, because that's where we are now.
Isn't it a great thing? Our platform is Disease Resilience Forum, and we established it right in the beginning of March when sort of everything happened. So I think I think we sort of definitely got the calling, and we want to sort of explore more into the space of resilience. So a question from Wasim. Wasim, a huge shout out to Wasim. I think, even Wasim has helped me out a lot with GSH, and I think,
Man, I'm telling you, this Wasim is a very dangerous fellow. Like what
yeah,
he's
yeah,
going to
definitely.
do to these carbon accounting
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
SaaS
No,
providers he's a great guy. Anyway, what's the question from Wasim?
he's a ninja. He's also developed few courses for GSH, and we're trying to get them CPD accredited. So
Brilliant.
inshallah, that will come in place as well. And he's asking, has sustainability professionals focused too much on frameworks, ratings, and reports, and too little on operational delivery?
Absolutely, absolutely. My friend, reporting is now the outcome. No, impact was the outcome. Everyone
Yeah.
focused on, well, how is this report and are we working on it? Like I said, 200 pages. Sorry, I got better things to do in my life than read 200 pages of it. Condense them down, just make it simple, have it audited so I trust you. I'll start with the notion that I trust you, but like
Mm.
you have to stop this. So absolutely too much focus on ratings, and again, there's something that maybe CSOs are responsible for, just that focus on what's our ESG rating. I think it really needs to move to the next level. Okay, what does this report say? How did we improve year on year? Are we going to take our ambitions and now call them aspirations? It's happening, CM. Companies that declared this is our ambition are now watering them down. It was an aspiration, we're not going to meet it. So reporting, I'm sorry, it needs to change also. So thankfully, because of AI, because of the number of tools, because of people like Wasim Akram who go around and they can prepare a tool at a fraction of the cost, that'll go down, and then people will say, okay, now what's the impact? So that's got to change. That has to change.
Hashtag hype up Wasim as much as we can. So
like
you mentioned AI, and that brings me to a question from Miss Neha Baga from the Netherlands. Shout out to you, Neha, and hope to see you soon once you're back into the UAE. She's asking, what is the future of AI governance?
Look, the future of AI governance is going to be managing AI risk. And the number one AI risk right now is all the hype surrounding AI. Brother, we saw it with tulips. We saw it with South China. We saw it with .com bubble. All these bubbles, they prop up everything. Everyone just talks about this, and then it pops. Then from the ashes, the actual phoenix, as they say, rises. So,
Yeah.
so the future of AI governance is, first, there's going to be some chaos for the hype to settle a little bit. I think it will be government led. There'll be a lot of public sector, let's say, nudging on how AI is to be governed, but pretty much the same. Once you step down from the public sector level, you've got to have the right ethics in place, and that, again, those ethics and how you're governing everything, how you're protecting your data, needs to sit at the board level. It needs to sit at the C-suite. Fortunately, it's already there. It's not like sustainability where you hired an ESG manager, then the poor guy was just made to do everything. With no actual authority. So it's going to be very different for AI, but you need that bubble to pop first, and then you'll see a very strong sector.
Amazing, and I hope that clarifies your questions, Neha. And Mr. Nicola, the sustainability director in Damak, he is saying, I do not agree with this. Few read financial statements, but they are key transparency documents.
I agree. Actually, Nicola, if you heard me earlier, I said if you're a sustainability professional, please study finance. Like learn how to read finance. So you're absolutely right. Very few read this, but if they are able to read that and see how the work they're doing is going to make an impact on financial statements, that's the value that they should be bringing. They will win.
I hope that clarifies. And he's saying, thank you for the discussion.
You're welcome.
We see a lot of people saying thank you for the discussion. Really great insights. Enjoyed the conversation and appreciate both of you. From Alicia Daoud. And there's one person called LinkedIn user, and he's saying, you better have nice things to say about Damak. I'm sorry, Masdar. You better have nice things to say about Masdar. Haha.
I only have nice things to say about Masdar. In fact, I'll also go. I'm sorry, going to take one more minute, but Masdar isn't just looking at energy. You know, one thing that Masdar, I'm very proud to say, they're probably one of the pioneers. Them and another mega developer here in Abu Dhabi. They're looking at heat risk, heat management, and they're using temperature intelligence to sort of look at, well, our assets are here. This is the heat. So I think Mazda has actually set the scene there as well, which you'll be hearing of a lot in the weeks ahead, because it's getting hotter and hotter outside. You're seeing, CM, what's happening in Europe.
Yeah,
In France, can you believe people didn't die from heat? They died from drowning because they were so hot. I mean,
exactly.
I think heat is, people need to think a lot about how they're going to deal with heat in the future. And again, another tip to future professionals: get into heat intelligence as soon as possible. And there are people doing it right here in the UAE. I'm very proud to say.
Amazing. Speaking about the heat wave in Europe, I see a lot of relatives in the UK. They go to Tesco with their children to sort of escape the heat.
Yeah. Well,
So- so-
we call that adaptation then. That's adaptation.
Neha is saying thank you both of you guys, and this webinar feels like a wake up call, and it's very much needed. Hoping to join more of such discussions. We have questions from Wasim again. We'll take 2-3 more questions, and then we can sort of wrap it up. It's not much questions, but people are appreciating the discussion. Alayli is saying she's from Malaysia. Definitely, there's a huge gap between what most professionals think AI can really do nowadays. So I'm happy that you found this conversation insightful.
Yeah, I mean, my
And
advice
we-
to everyone: be aware of all these people coming selling you AI, because the first step is automation. The next step is machine learning. So, I mean, a lot of people are jumping the gun and running. There are a few people on there, they're running into AI. Please automate first and then get into machine learning. And you don't always need a large language model. Small language models will work just fine depending on the sector you're in. So be very careful.
That's amazing. Mr. Jorgen Hobart said 100% agree. I'm not sure what you're agreeing to, but I hope that was a good thing.
I like him already. Great. Great.
Okay,
Thank you.
we'll take one last question. Let me just skip through the comments, and then we can then sort of read through. If there's more questions, you guys can always reach out to Hassaan. You guys can join the WhatsApp network. You have the QR code on the screen. And with that, I think we can take, we have one more here from the LinkedIn user. Okay. It's not name though. I'm working here. I feel they really, maybe he's the LinkedIn user. Maybe he's working for the Masdar, I think. And he's saying, I'm working here.
Yeah.
They're doing really brilliant. How can cost today on P&L help us define resilience tomorrow on P&L? Sorry, I'm not registered. Sorry, I'm not registered. Maybe that's why I'm showing LinkedIn. Okay. Yeah, I think his question is, how can cost today on P&L help us define resilience tomorrow?
No. Cost today is not going to help you define resilience. Cost today is just going to be, let's say this is our baseline. Now, how can we improve? How can we reduce our costs? What I'm saying is how your interventions, right? Your activities, how will they come and affect that P&L? That's what I'm actually saying, right? If your initiative really has no impact, why are you doing it? Your CFO will shoot it down. So don't do it. Make him your best friend.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's a great way to end up and wrap it up. Everyone who has more questions, because I see more questions in the chat, everyone who has questions, feel free to add Hassaan on LinkedIn. I'm not sure if you want to give away your Instagram handle, because I definitely enjoy watching your Instagram stories. I don't know if you want to give that away.
That's fine. We can connect on LinkedIn. That's fine.
We can connect on LinkedIn. I think let's leave it. Let's do LinkedIn now, and then we'll see if you come to the level 2 of Hassaan Circle. You'll get his Instagram.
No. We're all friends. We're all friends. Look,
Yes, exactly.
I love sharing knowledge. I love talking to you, CM. God bless you. God bless all the people who joined in. It's been really, really great. Thank you for letting me get a lot of stuff off my chest. And folks, if you don't invite me to your birthday party or your dinners, it's okay. It's fine. I don't mind if you didn't like what I said.
I remember we had this webinar with you. So by the way, before we wrap up, I want to say this though: if you haven't had the chance to watch Hassaan live on a training, it's absolutely a joy. It was for me, and we have it on YouTube as well. It was it was hosted under Recall. You can find it. It's on the decree law. You can just Google it, Recall Decree Law 11, and watch that as well, because that's I think that's one of your dare I say, I know you have a lot of good work out there, but that's one of the good videos of you going through everything, and with humor, with relevance, jokes, and everything summarized very perfectly. So
God bless you.
That is amazing. We'll wrap it up. Hassaan, thank you so much for inaugurating our GCC Resilience Forum, and I salute you, and may you have a blessed future.
God bless you. God bless you. Take care, everyone. Have a lovely day.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.